Hey folks, my name's Chris Wessel. Today we're going to be tying a pattern I really love for fall Atlantic salmon, which is a Red Francis. This is a European or Scandinavian pattern. It mimics a shrimp style fly and is tied in a wide range of colors. So without further ado, let's get on into it. Alright, today we're going to be tying our Red Francis on a size 8 CS42 single. It's a bit smaller than I would normally go with on this pattern, but there is definitely a need for a smaller version of this pattern as well, so don't be shied off from the size. We're going to start off with a color red UTC 70. This for me is a autumn pattern. You don't see a ton of people fishing this pattern, but it is a really good pattern for salmon. So our first step here is we need to make 4, I guess you would say, antennae for the back of this fly. I already have some pre-made, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I do it. So this is from my bugger pack from Whiting, and you're just going to strip the fibers off of this feather, leaving just a little bit at the tip. So one side down. That's a good feeling when a bunch comes off at once. And I snip it off here, and if you can see, leaves kind of like a little tip on this. And it's not something common that people do with this pattern, but I like doing it because I feel like it makes the antennae a little bit more prominent in the water. Yeah, so I don't know. You can do it that way. You can do it your own way. So it does call for 2 brown and 2 white antennae on this fly, and I think that's about a good length there. We're going to go with a brown next. Actually, I could go over that brown with a Sharpie a little bit just to, I'm sure this will just fade off once it hits the water, but it's a permanent marker, so fingers crossed. And I'm going to go and put on another white. And one more brown. You're going to try to distribute them evenly around the fly, but on a small fly like this, I find it hard to make it look real uniformed. Anyway, and trim off some of this stuff. Alright, so I'll just get that all tied in. So the next step on this fly is we're going to put on a tail on it, I guess you would call it. And for that today we're going to be using a dark brown calf tail. I really love calf tail fibers for the tail on this fly. And I'm not quite sure if you're supposed to be using something different, but a lot of the versions of this pattern that I see do use calf tail. And I am going to stack that as well, I think. Okay. And we're going to bring this up on our fly, right about there. I'm going to trim off some of the extra stuff so I don't have to do it when it's on the fly. And those are loose wraps, just so I can push this calf tail around the shank a bit. And now I'll do some tighter wraps. So our next material, we're going to be using a red uni yarn. And I might just get this thread out of the way for now. And we're going to do a butt section of this fly. And then we're going to put on, I guess you would call it a collar on this fly. Let's just call it that. This pattern also comes in a multitude of colors. It's really effective as an olive and a black as well. And we crisscross the yarn over this too, and that'll keep it from slipping a bit. And we may have to bring our thread up as well just to kind of tie it in a bit. I find yarn tends to slip at times pretty easily. And I'll just bring that thread around just to kind of hold that in so I can put on a couple more wraps. Alright, so I'm just going to tie that in, and I'm going to cut this off for now just to get it out of the way, but we're going to have to come back to that in a minute. I am feeling a little bit insecure about that bottom section, so I'm just going to put a little bit of head cement there. I know it's kind of cheating, but if it holds it together, I really don't care. For our next material, we're going to be using this bugger pack again. And it's a dark brown hackle. And we're going to be tying this collar, and that's about the size I want there. And I'm just kind of splaying those feathers out. And I'm going to tie it in from the tip, I think. So we're going to give this a bunch of wraps. I wouldn't be too shy about this, guys. And I'll probably do one more. Alright. Don't worry about it if it looks messy at this point, because that's about to change. Get that stuff out. So, it's actually, this is not bad. This is kind of where we want it anyway. But we do need to tie in our rib material, and for this fly today we're going to use a size small Vivus in silver. Alright. I'm just going to get rid of this thread. I also need to practice my hand whip finishing apparently. Alright, so I did have... Where did my yarn go? Oh, there it is. So now we're going to come back with our yarn again. Cut off that extra. And remember, we said that we were going to try to taper the body on this, so I think we can go with a bit more of a, yeah, that looks nice there, perfect. Guys, if you put your uni yarn or your yarn material on a spool, you'll be doing yourself a big favor. It makes the process so much quicker. So once we feel like we got a pretty good shape there, and I'm feeling that now, We're going to come back again with our thread, and we're going to finish this off with a red head too. And we'll get rid of our yarn. Alright, we're almost there. So now we're going to take our rib material and we're going to put in 5 ribs. Oof. How do we look on your side? That's a little bit off. That's alright. Hopefully the fish say, hey, that's the one we want. It's got weird ribs. Alright, and a little bit of head cement now that I'll subsequently follow up with a couple more coats and put a nice shiny head on this. And folks, that is a Red Francis. Super cool pattern, great autumn fly, and I think our friends over across the sea likes to fish these pretty much all year round. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. If not, totally cool too. I will see you next time. Stay safe.